So I was in the middle of writing Brothers in Betrayal, and I wrote this scene between John and Nathaniel, and they're having kind of this witty battle about whose mother was the wisest. And I got this flashback to one of my favorite duos, Quint and James. They probably two of my favorite guys interacting of all time in my books. Suddenly, I could not think of anything else but what was Maria doing today. That was just like what kept stuck in my head, is where's Maria today? And so I ended up writing a short story. This is my little quote thing. I have a quote from each of my books and short stories up on the wall, and after I finish them, and this favorite quote. And so this is my little picture thing to represent the continuing destiny. They're very short stories. I think altogether they're like they're 4 stories. I think it's 5,000 words altogether, which is not like it will take you about 15, maybe 20 minutes to read the entire thing. They're little, just kind of things to wrap up certain stories. But my favorite quote is, within each of us there are broken places. Places that this world has damaged beyond repair. Because one of the things that, as I was thinking about where Maria might be today, I realized she went through some pretty traumatic things, especially in the last book. She would go through some things that would haunt her. Things that would be very difficult for her. And, so when I first thought, that's what I first thought of. But also, I was very excited. I have to admit, this is a spoiler alert. Consider the little sign, the spoiler alert. If you haven't read the Destiny trilogy, stop watching now if you do not want any spoilers. James was one of my favorite guys. It is still one of my favorite guys I've ever written. And I was very excited that he and Maria got together. Everybody after the Death of a Few were asking me when, everyone after the Death of One was asking me when Quint and Maria were going to get together. And I was kind of stunned because I never even thought of the two of them together. And I felt horrible doing it to my readers. I didn't figure out that this was what people thought until after I published the first one. Or I would have made it a little clearer. But, so one of the things I was really excited to see is very happy Maria and James. So the first story, FYI, there is a little bit of kissing in this one, which was kind of weird because it was the first time I'd ever done that in a book. But since James and Maria were married, I figured it'd be kind of weird not to write that they were very happily in love. But I was excited to kind of see where they were at, and it was a bittersweet in writing The Continuing Destiny, because we see how things have changed. While James and Maria are very happy, things that Quint and Winter are both off doing things. James has a lot of pressure on him because he's king. And also, Quint is going through a really hard time. As some of you probably noticed, there's in The Continued Destiny, of those who read it, there is definitely a hint, a lot of hinting at Quint's backstory, something that's never fulfilled in those stories, which, how could it be in such a very short story? When Quint obviously has left. Quint has obviously had a very interesting life, right? The hope, here is the hope, is that there will be, within the next couple years, a book coming out with Quint's backstory. Before you get too excited, do you know there are 2 major assembly books? Well, it is started. I do have the first chapter written. It kind of ground to a halt when I originally tried to do it, because well, have kind of snippets of Quint's story. Don't have a lot to tie it together. 2, I find it very difficult to write stories where the main character is not a Christian. And Quint's backstory, of course, would have him in a time where he didn't believe in Christ, and so that's the second stumbling block. And but my hope is that I can make it work, because I know a lot of people have been interested in his backstory, and I think that it potentially could be a very powerful story. So if for those of you who have been waiting for his backstory and want it to happen, you can just pray for inspiration, because the plan is sometime in early 2017 to attempt to write it. So yeah, just pray during that time frame that inspiration strikes and that story comes to being. In the meantime, if you want to read The Continued Destiny, which is kind of short stories after the trilogy, you could get it on Amazon Kindle for 99 cents, really cheap.